Hello everyone, my name is Jyoti Khan and I'm the current chair of IABC, International Association of Business Communicators in Asia Pacific. I hope you're having a pleasant day wherever you are. I'm speaking to you from my home in Singapore. Since 2019, IABC in Asia Pacific has been honoring our outstanding communication professionals in the region through our Communicator of the Year awards. And today we will meet the winners for 2023. Our 2023 Communicator of the Year Senior Communication Professional is a change manager and strategic communication specialist based in Brisbane, Australia. Her 20-year professional career spans across multiple industries, including mining, health, financial services, and nonprofit as well. A couple of years back, in 2021, she found One Bell Consulting, a boutique small business specializing in cross-cultural communication. Although it's still in early years, as the face of the business, she's creating a name for herself in the sector as a passionate advocate for building strong business ties with Pacific nations. Ladies and gentlemen, IABC Asia Pacific's 2023 Communicator of the Year in Senior Communication Professional category is Maryanne Kepui. Maryanne, congratulations and welcome to this conversation.
Thank you, Jyoti. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you.
So where are you today? Where am I speaking to you from?
I'm coming to you from Brisbane, my hometown, here in Queensland, Australia.
Fantastic. All right. So, I must say that when the evaluation committee was going through the nominations and we had a strong participation this year, we were really impressed by the breadth of your experience and the work you've done in your career, how you've contributed in the organizations you worked for, and I think the holistic credentials you had of across industries, across disciplines, and especially with the nonprofits. So we were really impressed, and I can't wait to get to know you a bit better through this conversation.
Thank you, that's very kind.
I want to talk about it, and it's almost sort of a known question, but things are back to normal, kinda, in after a couple of years of people communicating rather differently. In your view, how did the pandemic change the way people communicate?
Yeah, I think for me, what I particularly noticed was from a corporate or a business perspective, the pandemic gave our leaders the ability to show up and be really, maybe for some leaders, the first time to really feel like it's okay to be vulnerable, to show empathy, and to be those kind of leaders where you could bring your best self to work and you could actually be authentic. Because it was crucial with the pandemic, you needed to connect better with your teams internally and also externally as well. So engaging with your customers, your suppliers, your community, your stakeholders. And I think for some leaders and businesses, it was quite easy to do. They were doing that already. So it amplified their chosen ways of communication. But for some others, it was a real push to get it outside of that comfort zone. I think what it did was it gave people the permission to be bold and maybe take on some sort of forms of communication that wasn't the norm. And it put a spotlight on communication channels themselves. I know personally what I saw and what I was involved with was helping businesses to maybe some of those channels that were always put in the too hard basket, for example, engaging with remote workers, they got put under the spotlight, and rightfully so. So a lot of businesses were looking at ways, well, how can we make sure we're reaching those audiences? Because we've got really important information to share with them, and we need to bring our people along with us.
Yeah, you're spot on. And kind of, I think you mentioned the channels, and that's a nice segue to the next question we had on mind. And, we've been hearing so much about the digital pivot. We've been talking about, just widespread accelerated use of digital platforms across businesses, which help us communicate to the world instantly. And you just talked about the remote workers. Now, as someone who specializes in the cross-cultural communication, what are the important things that professionals like you and I should remember to communicate with people from different cultural backgrounds, irrespective of the medium, digital or not?
Yeah, I was just going to say exactly that, Jyoti. Sometimes it's not so much the channel. The channels will always be there. It's the content and the how that you're engaging. And I think as comms professionals, we'll always put the audience foremost in our minds. And I think when it comes to cross-cultural communication, that's heightened even more. And I think one of those reasons is when you're communicating across cross-cultural audiences, you have to remember that you are engaging or working alongside individuals that have their own cultural reference or frame of mind. And so with our communications, we have to be particularly mindful of when we are creating communication that it does take in different beliefs, value systems, and messaging needs to be tailored in particular. And what makes that more interesting or more complex is when you're working in organisations that might be global, you've also got the organisational culture that's laid over the top, which makes our role very interesting. But it also means that we need to check ourselves in terms of any assumptions or stereotypes that we might be bringing into our communication. It's always checking for feedback and understanding with those that are going to be on the receiving end. And I think some of just the basic rules that apply around common courtesy, common respect. And I personally have my own mantra when engaging with cross-cultural audiences, and that is to engage with curiosity and walk away with knowledge. I would have to say that's a good thing to keep in mind when you are engaging cross-culturally.
That's one to remember. I will remember that, to engage with curiosity and walk away with knowledge. Now, I know that, in our career, there are people that we come across who shape, the kind of leaders we are, the kind of comms professionals we become. What is the most important advice that you've ever received from a mentor or someone who's inspired you that has shaped your career and to get you to where you are today?
I think I was very fortunate. I had a mentor when I was just starting out in my comms career, and she gave me some really useful insight on engaging with senior leaders and those that operate at that C-suite level when you're offering comms support. And she got me to think about that at that level they're often operating from a very different mindset with drivers and a certain outcome that they're leading towards. And there's a bit of emotion, there's a bit of logic intertwined in there. And that insight helped me realise that, as communication professionals, we can go about our craft in two ways. We can be very transactional, which is just delivering on the brief, or you can think about, for example, with those engaging at that level, think about how can you step up and be that trusted advisor? How can you take a back step, realise the kind of mind frames or the drivers that they're working towards to shape the way that we then impart communication and the strategic advice that we're giving. And I think that learning that quite early on in my career, it always helped me to push a little bit further, with my active listening, with my curiosity, and with that intent or drive to actually know what's behind the comms narrative that we're trying to get out. And I think that's held me in very good stead, and possibly one of the reasons why I'm very fortunate to be sitting here in this role as the senior comms professional for 2023.
Fantastic. Maryanne, I know I could carry on with my personal questions to get to know you better, but I know that this is one of our many conversations. So thank you for being with us here today. Congratulations. I think you totally deserve it. And on behalf of IABC in Asia Pacific, I wish you all the best. And it's great that you're here and you're here to share your knowledge with us. I really hope that we get to see you in Bali for our Fusion 2023 conference, which is scheduled for September 4th and 5th. And that's where we're going to be handing out your award trophy to you. So we really hope that we get to meet you in person and our attendees get to hear from you. For those of you who are interested in the Fusion 2023 conference, look out for more information on our social handles on LinkedIn, or visit our website www.iabcapac.com. And if you want to become a member of IABC, now is a great time. I think as the world is changing, we all need the resources and the connections that IABC offers to put communications at the heart of every organization. And a big thank you before I end, a big thank you to Telemedia for supporting our Communicator of the Year Award for second year in a row. And with that, I will sign off. I am Jyoti Khan, the current chair of IABC in Asia Pacific. It's been a pleasure having this conversation, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.